This is BE and CSR lecture, and we are going to discuss the topic that is ILO. Starting with the table of content, the topics which we are going to cover are introduction, mandate, history, role of ILO, objectives, structure, major activities, how ILO is adopted, and conditions of work. Starting with the introduction, so the International Labour Organization is a United Nations agency dealing with labor issues, particularly international labor standard, social protection, and work opportunities for all. And the ILO has 187 member states, in which 186 of the 193 UN member states plus the Cook Islands are the members of the ILO. So we can say that ILO is a United Nations international organization which is responsible for creating and overseeing international labor standards. Coming upon the next topic under this, that is mandate, it is to promote opportunities for men and women to obtain decent and productive work in conditions of freedom, equity, security, and human dignity, which is summed up by the expression decent work as a global goal. So this is the how this starts, like it starts commencing from 1919 and further it is going on. Next we have the history. So this ILO was established in April 11th, 1919 as a part of League of Nations. Its headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland, and this is the only international body which has survived even after the Second World War. And it became a specialized agency of UN's in 1946, which aims at world peace and social justice. And India became its original signatory. That means when it was introduced, at the same time, India became its member. It draws attention on various problems like working conditions, unemployment, industrial accident, diseases, problems of women and young persons, children, etc. So it sees that what problems the community is facing, what problems the working persons are facing, and try to resolve such problems. It is a tripartite body where there are representatives of employer, labor, and government. Now this is 5 rupee coin in which ILO symbol is there, and it was in the time period between 1990 to 1994 to show that India is together with ILO. Next, we have the objectives of ILO. First is to promote and realize standards and fundamental principles and right at work. Second is to create opportunities, that is, opportunities for both men and women so that they can get a decent working environment and get employment and income. Third is to enhance the coverage and effectiveness of social protection for all. And the last is to strengthen tripartism and social dialogue. Coming upon the role of ILO, so the first role of ILO is to provide full employment and also to raise the standard of living of the people. Second is that together with the employment, the workers should also be satisfied with what they are working. Third is policies with wages, hours, and conditions of work. Protection of life and health of workers. So ILO make new provisions, coming up with new policies so that it could protect the workers. Provision for child welfare and maternity protection, provision for adequate nutrition and housing, assurance of equality of education and vocational opportunity. Next we have the structure of ILO. So this is divided into three parts: the International Labour Conference, the governing body, and the last is International Labour Office. Firstly, we will discuss the International Labour Conference, where there are representatives of different sectors like the government, employer, as well as the employee. So here the ratio is 2 is to 1 is to 1. That means 2 for the government, 1 for the employer, and 1 for the employee. Then there is a governing body. It has 56 title members, title members and 66 deputy member. And under International Labour Office, there are 2,700 officials which are from 150 nations. Starting with the International Labour Conference. So this is the place where policy making is done. So policy making and legislative wing of ILO. So this session is held once a year, and ILC elect governing body. So the meetings or the sessions are attended by 4 delegates, which we had already discussed, that 2 will be from the government, which will be generally cabinet minister, 1 representative will be of the employee, and 1 representative of the employer. And each delegate is accompanied by the advisor not exceeding 2 in number. And non-government delegates, these are chosen by the government. Now, further the functions of ILC. First, they formulate the international standards, that which conventions or what type of recommendations they could give. Second is decide expenditure budget. Third is to make amendments, because we know that from time to time some amendments or some changes are required within the existing policies. Fourth is consider labor problems and assess solutions towards them. Fifth is select once in 3 years members of governing body. And last is elect president. Now coming up on governing body. So it is the executive wing of ILO, and it is a political body, and it implements decisions of ILC with the help of International Labour Office. As we had discussed earlier, that it consists of 56 titular members, and there are 28 government, 14 employer, and 14 employee representatives. And further, it consists of 66 deputy members. In the same way, there are 28 government employees, government representatives, 19 employer representatives, and 19 employee representatives. Now the governing body. So there are 10 of the titular government seats which are permanently held by state of chief industrial importance. That means these members will always remain its member. And these countries are Brazil, China, France, India, Italy, Japan, UK, US, and the Russian Federation. So these are the countries which signed the ILO at the time of its commencement. So generally it meets thrice in a year, in the month of March, June, and November. And members are elected by ILC every 3 years. Uh, it also elects Director General after every 5 years, and decides agenda for ILC, and also scrutinize the budget. Now the last part, that is the International Labour Office, or this is a major part we can say. So it is a focus point for activities of International Labour Organization under the supervision of governing body, and this is headed by Director General. And the head of ILO is Guy Ryder, and its headquarter we had already discussed earlier, that it is in Geneva, Switzerland. And this office employs 2,700 officials from over 150 nations. And the office also contains a research and documentation center, and it is also responsible to collect and distribute information of labor and social problems. Now, International Labour Office, the functions of International Labour Office, these are related with, they work for different type of persons who are involved in working, like migrant workers, women workers, child workers, social security, conditions at work, health, safety and welfare, other activities which is regarding the promotion of handicraft and small industries, and workers education program. So these are the focus of the ILO, and they make policies and plans regarding these type of persons. Thank you.